And a very happy Thursday to you at 12:08 in the West. Talk Radio 790 KABC, the John Phillips Show. Broadcasting live from the Morongo Casino Resort and Spa Living Room Studios. Mr. Randy Wangs at the sports desk in Culver City.
John, the L.A. City Attorney's Office has announced after a thorough investigation there will be no charges filed against Kevin De Leon or activist Jason Reedy in the scuffle around Christmas time where the two of them got into a fight at a Christmas tree giveaway. No one's getting charged for nothing.
Well, that fight, and we'll put that in quotes, wasn't exactly Frazier Ali.
No. Kevin De Leon claimed he got headbutted, which did not happen.
He was also wearing a Santa hat when it happened.
The Santa hat fell off when he tried to do a pile driver on the guy.
Maybe the Santa hat absorbed the headbutt blow.
Now, of course, the only reason I would even bring up this story is I feel like it's been a while since we did the pledge.
Let's go ahead and do it.
Madam President, today is Tuesday and time for the flag salute.
Mr. De Leon, can you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning?
Thank you very much, Madam President. It'd be an honor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Indivisible, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The pledge gives me goose pimples every time I hear it.
Isn't he up for re-election next year?
I think so.
I haven't heard him talk about that he has started a campaign for 2024, and I have not heard anybody talk about running against him.
I think Assemblywoman Wendy Carrillo announced that she is running, and she's useless. She's one of these people in Sacramento that just votes with the majority on everything. So every toxic policy coming out of the state capitol has her signature on it. That wouldn't be an improvement from Kevin De Leon. But this is Los Angeles, so this is what we have.
Oh, you don't want Wendy Carrillo in there. I very distinctly remember Wendy Carrillo putting together a ceremony to make Barbara Ferrer Woman of the Year in 2021.
Next slide.
Oh, God. Not only would I vote for Kevin De Leon over her, I might send him a check.
Yeah.
So is she playing musical chairs now?
I guess so. Well, you know, if you're in the state legislature, you make about half of what city council members make. So they look at moving from the state legislature to the city council as being a huge step up. In addition to the money, you also get 4-year terms instead of 2-year terms. You can be there for 12 years, and you don't have to fly Southwest.
Isn't it kind of strange, though? We have the highest paid city council in the entire country, and in the last 5 years, 4 of them have been arrested for corruption.
Well, this is a city that hasn't functioned for a very long time. Part of the reason that these members go to the city of Los Angeles is they know that not only do they get paid more, not only do they not have to travel, but they're also completely invisible because unless they're going to prison, no one really reports on what they do. If you go to Congress, in theory, at some point, you're going to end up on the news if you do something stupid enough. You almost have to do something Kevin De Leon grade dumb to make the papers if you're on the LA City Council. 800-222-KABC is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Randy, I did something very stupid today.
Oh, no.
Okay. I'm sure there are many people in the audience who have done the same thing as me, and I think your minds are going to jump to one place, but the reality is actually slightly different. I went to Target, I went to Target this morning to do some shopping. And you know that anyone who works at Target has to wear red. That's the deal. They don't have a uniform, so they don't all look exactly alike, but they're all wearing some variation of a red shirt. I, not thinking about where I was going shopping, put on a red shirt this morning before I went shopping at Target. And I know you're thinking that I'm going to be walking around the store and people are going to come up to me and they're going to start barking orders. Where do you keep the Snapple? Where can I get my back-to-school supplies? Have you put the Christmas decorations out yet? None of that happened, though, Randy. Not one question, not one piece of advice was asked of me. People left me alone as I was in the Target doing my shopping. Guess where I got hit up repeatedly?
Where's that?
In the parking lot. Because every time I would pass by homeless people in the parking lot, they thought I was an employee who was there to hassle them. I guess the employees tell them, you can't live in our parking lot, so keep it moving. And they ignore them, of course. And it's Target, so a lot of the people that work there are women. And they just ignore the women. But since I'm a giant and I was wearing red and I was walking by the homeless people, I guess they thought I was Target's muscle.
Did you want to play the part for a second and say, yeah, you could take that riffraff to Walmart?
Well, what they did was they started mid-sentence. I'm walking by and they just look at me and go, okay, we'll do it. And at first I had no idea what they were talking about. But then I passed by another pack of them, and I essentially got the same thing out of them. And then I put two and two together. Oh, Target told them to keep it moving, and they ignored them, and now they think I'm the one who's going out to threaten to call the cops.
I guess in some fentanyl-laced haze, they saw you as a threat. This guy's going to do something.
They must be on the strong stuff if they thought I was the muscle.
This guy we got to take seriously.
So that was my morning. 800-222-KABC is your telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Well, the big story nationwide is the prisoner swap, I guess you could call it, that's going on right now between us and Iran. Sometimes when we're trying to get American citizens back from foreign countries who are not releasing them for one reason or another, we swap them for other prisoners. We did that with Russia when we had the WNBA basketball player who was caught with drug paraphernalia in custody over there. In return for her, they got some guy who had the name that could be a mobster. What was his name, Randy? Johnny No Thumbs? Something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Russian arms dealer.
Why is it, by the way, that every time we do one of these trades, the deal is like when the Boston Red Sox traded Babe Ruth for money to finance the play No Nanette?
Well, because we don't usually wrongfully detain foreign nationals. So the people that we have are people that are actually bad.
They get war criminals or cash payments, and we get people who got caught with drugs. Doesn't seem like a fair trade to me.
No, but we got to get our people back.
It depends on who they are.
We couldn't have left Brittany Griner up there to rot.
What do you think the government would have paid for you and me?
I don't think we'd get a lot.
No. No, that's when they finance No Nanette, but that's about it. Have they ever done that play in Russian? So this time we had a deal with the Iranian government to get back some Americans in exchange for cash money. And we're not talking about peanuts, Randy. We're talking about a lot of cash money.
Well, they're hostages. Got to get them out somehow.
What's the number?
I think we're in the B's, right?
Yeah. $6 billion is what Iran is getting. And we're getting 5 Americans who were imprisoned in Iran. $6 billion. What is the budget of Iran? The hole in our budget is what, $32 billion?
I don't know if they actually do okay, let's see. The total proposal of the latest budget for Iran is 21.6 quadrillion reals, which is about $52 billion.
Okay. So $6 billion for a country with an overall budget of $52 billion is a lot of money. That's what they're getting from this one transaction.
Yeah, but we got them back, or we're getting them back.
Okay, but what's the lesson to be learned from this? If you're Iran and you want to paper over your budget deficit, all you have to do is kidnap enough people. There's big money in the kidnapping world. We have more details on this story. Let's go ahead and hear it.
Here's ABC News when this broke. Now that's an intro.
That's not a swoosh. That's a whole music bed.
Breaking news.
They saved the good stuff for the national shows.
Breaking news now on ABC News Live. Hello, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips. We have now gotten word that Iran has released 4 American detainees. Let's bring in our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, for more. Martha, what exactly are we learning?
That wasn't a swoosh. That was Martha Raddatz flying into the studio.
Kira, the negotiations have been going on in secret for months, and these 4 Americans have been in the notorious Evin prison for years. But this afternoon, the family of one of those prisoners, Siamak Namaski, says he and the others have now been released into house arrest. They will probably be staying in a hotel.
Wait a minute. For $6 billion, all we did was we got him upgraded from being in prison to house arrest?
Apparently, it's a really notorious prison.
Okay, well, house arrest isn't any walk in the park.
At least they get cable.
In Iran?
Okay, they don't get that either, do they? And they can't drink.
Yeah, I don't think there's any Skinamax going on at the Hilton over in Tehran.
This is an exchange for the release of $6 billion from South Korea for Iran that had been frozen due to sanctions. The U.S. says the money must be used for humanitarian purposes.
Oh, yeah, right.
I'm sure they will hold that to a T.
Humanitarian bombs, humanitarian kidnapping plots, what else?
But it's unclear how they will guarantee that. I can read you a statement from Siamak's family. He said, "We are grateful that Siamak and the other Americans in Iran are out of Evin prison and will be under house arrest. While this is a positive change, we will not rest until Siamak and the others are back home. We continue to..."
So it was a $6 billion upgrade.
What's the upcharge to get him back? If it was $6 billion to get him from the prison to house arrest, what, do we have to give him $6 billion more to put him on probation?
We will not rest until Siamak and the others are back home. We continue to count the days until this can happen. We have suffered tremendously and indescribably for 8 horrific years and wish only to be reunited again as a family. Now, 3 of those prisoners have been named in the past. The 4th wanted to remain anonymous. They are all Iranian Americans, but have been in that horrendous prison all this time.
So then, Martha, any word on when they could actually return to the U.S.?
I think that is the second part here, and probably...
How was that not negotiated for the original $6 billion?
Well, you got to do something to get your foot in the door.
Well, it's not like we negotiated a discount. If we finagled them down to $6 million, where do you think we started?
They probably wanted 100 quadrillion rayons.
I think that is the second part here, and probably they are the Iranians want this deal to go through and be sure that this money is being unfrozen before they are released back.
So they want to make sure that they actually get the money before we can go to round 2.
So they believe we're the dishonest ones in this deal.
Well, why do you think they're constantly chanting death to America? We're freaking infidels.
Being unfrozen before they are released back to the U.S., but they are very hopeful that they will be returned to the U.S. after these long negotiations, Kira.
There you go.
All right. If they kept them there for 8 years and $6 billion got them from being in prison to being on house arrest, and I guess we still have to negotiate some other sweetener to get them back home to the United States, I can tell you this much. I would not want to be riding on the same plane as them when they leave that country. These Iranians, man, they play hardball. It's no joke over there. Do we even know what they did to get arrested in the first place?
I would guarantee you it wasn't something major.
No.
They're hostages. They're absolutely hostages. What are we supposed to do? Leave them alone?
And it's Iran, too. You get caught chewing gum in public, you could go to prison for 8 years.
Take off your headscarf for more than 10 seconds. They'll go after you. They'll string you up for that.
You get in the wrong subway car. Although I bet you it's much safer than our MTA. Maybe we could learn a thing or two. Throwback Thursday, songs from Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Stop whining.
Which movie was that from?
That's The Terminator.
Okay.
This bit is running on fumes. Please email us suggestions at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com.
And if you missed yesterday's show and you want to go back and listen to it, maybe as soon as we're over at 3:01, Randy, that's easy to do.
That's right. Go to KABC.com, click on podcast, go to the Apple Podcast app, iHeart, Spotify, search for The John Phillips Show, hit subscribe. You can download all of the episodes. You can also search for The John Phillips Show on YouTube, add the playlist there. There are so many different ways to listen, but you want to make sure you listen to all 15 hours. That is Monday shows, Friday shows, and of course,
in the meantime, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
let's do that right now. 790 KABC welcomes Dionne Warwick to the Libby Bowl in Ojai on September 1st. Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com, but right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets are furnished by The Canyon, where music meets the soul. Good luck dialing.
You know, she's related to Whitney Houston.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think she's the aunt.
Oh, wow.
But that package that we played for you earlier in the show, where the anchor was Kira Phillips, no relation to me.
Different Phillips.
That's right. It's Throwback Thursday, music from Arnold Schwarzenegger films.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
That one's Commando, which I love that movie, especially as a kid. It's the one where Alyssa Milano's his daughter and he's trying to save Jenny. But for some reason, the soundtrack has steel drum in it, and I never understood that.
Now, was the movie called Commando because it was one of these superhero sci-fi flicks, or did he just not wear underwear?
It's possible he didn't wear underwear. No, he's just a really, really, really good ex-military guy that kills all the bad guys. Your classic Schwarzenegger film.
Yeah. He's real good at breaking things and blowing things up.
That man was governor.
Like I said, he's good at breaking things and blowing things up.
Stop whining.
800-222-KABC is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Well, thanks to one gas station owner in the Long Beach area, we learned all about cashiers being dummies.
If the cashier is dummy.
But every once in a while, we see a story that redeems the cashiers and proves to us that not all of them are dummies.
And that's what the two cashiers at the 7-Eleven in Stockton showed us when they beat the crap out of a would-be robber with a stick, Singapore style, to the point where he was the one who was whining.
Stop whining.
Now, what kind of stick was it? Was it a stick that's attached to a rake? Was it a hockey stick, or was it something they broke off a tree?
It seemed like it was the other end of a broom.
Okay. Well, it's dual use then.
I don't think anyone's going to mess around with this 7-Eleven for years and years and years. Now, there's been a spike in 7-Eleven robberies in Oakland, but that's a different story.
No. Well, now it's been broadcast all over the news that the cashiers at this particular 7-Eleven in Stockton fight back. How would you like to be the AM/PM down the street where everyone knows everything is free for the taking?
Too much good stuff.
We told you earlier in the week that the mayor of Stockton said that the two cashiers would not be charged with the crime for attacking this individual with a stick after he was robbing their 7-Eleven. But, Randy, we have yet another update to add to the story.
That's right. The DA has come out and said no charges for the cashiers, and the would-be robber is now made a court appearance. For more, here is CBS Sacramento.
Tonight, new questions about that viral beatdown at a Stockton 7-Eleven as the suspect appears in court for the first time. Thanks for staying with us at 5:30. I'm Hunter Sowards.
And I'm Curtis Ming. The DA says the clerks seen beating the suspect are not facing charges. CBS 13 Shantae Passmore is getting answers on this case's legal challenges.
This news team has fun names.
They all do. Every single one. Not as good as Marvin Zindler, but pretty good.
Curvis Bing, Shantae Bevor. I want to watch CBS Sacramento.
Marvin Zindler, Eyewitness News.
It's this.
That is pretty much the soundtrack to local news in California these days.
Well, if you heard more things like this, I don't think you would have nearly as many brazen robberies. Not advocating for violence, but somebody deserved their comeuppance here.
No, if people fought back and we didn't put up with crime, we wouldn't have like half of our drops.
It's this.
We would never have a use for that, but I do love it. That is right up there with.
Go forward! No! It's this.
Wow, they're going Barry Bonds on him.
Those Sikhs do not mess around.
It's this viral video sparking national conversation about crime. Stockton police.
What is the conversation? That crime is bad?
Well, I don't know if you looked very closely at the video, Randy, but every time they hit the robber with the stick, candy came out.
There's a Twix.
Stockton police
Raisinets.
Stockton police say the man behind this attempted robbery at a 7-Eleven is Tyrone Frazier. The 41-year-old appeared in court for.
Wait a second. I thought Gascon and Price say that people age out of crime.
How old was he?
41.
That's a little long in the tooth to be knocking off 7-Elevens.
You're 41 years old, and your greatest accomplishment is failing to steal a bunch of cigarettes from 7-Eleven?
If at 41 years of age he's knocking off 7-Elevens, where did he learn the craft? Lemonade stands? Street vendors? Where did he start?
They usually start at taco trucks. I think that's well established at this point.
The 41-year-old appeared in court for the first time. When asked if he understood his rights, he said,
I'll sleep.
On and offline.
I love that they keep going back to that video.
Oh, wouldn't you put it on a continuous loop?
That's what you have to do.
I'll sleep.
On and offline, people have commended and condoned the store clerk's actions after this witness recorded the incident and beat down.
Like, seriously? Really? So, consequence.
There's other ways that you can.
I mean, we're at a point now where the public is applauding vigilante justice.
Right, because if they didn't do that to this robber, the robber would not be punished in any way, shape, or form.
He would continue doing this, and he would escalate, and the robberies were turned to armed robberies, and things would get violent. We see this all the time. But now that this guy's had a smacking with a stick, he might think twice.
There's other ways.
Also, because this is so widely broadcast and the video went so viral, they've got to throw the book at this guy.
Oh, everyone's paying attention to this one.
There's other ways that you can handle things without violence.
With countless views on the video.
Yeah, except for the fact that the guy was pointing that he trying to motion to the cashiers that he had a gun on him.
Wait, was she going after the cashiers for attacking the guy with the stick?
Well, you know how it is, man on the street. You find one person who says, I love those guys. And you find one person who says, violence is wrong.
Yeah, well, I hope that man on the street is the victim of a smash and grab while she's being interviewed.
Consequence.
There's other ways that you can handle things without violence.
With countless views on.
Maybe they could have, said, hey, how about 10 free lotto tickets and you can leave the store right now?
Yeah, how is it? What is the proper etiquette? Did Emily Post ever do a column about what you're supposed to do when you're getting robbed for the fourth time?
Maybe you gently approach the man as he's shoving carton after carton of cigarettes into the garbage bag and say, you understand, sir, that those things will give you cancer, right?
And you have to look at the situation and say, how much blame as the victim should you assume? Were you wearing white after Labor Day, for example? Maybe that triggered the individual.
So that woman would prefer the cashier to be.
If the cashier is dummy.
There's other ways that you can handle things without violence.
With countless views on the video, questions raised whether vigilantism could spike as people grow increasingly frustrated with crime and punishment.
Well, we've already got a guy in San Francisco who is wearing a mask and going after people that break into cars. Batman is real.
Batman had to rescue Gotham because the city refused to get control of crime. Vigilante justice happens when the government fails at its basic duty.
Questions raised whether vigilantism could spike as people grow increasingly frustrated with crime and punishment. However, the DA's office made it clear why the employees won't face criminal charges.
As you guys saw on video, motioned to his belt, said he had a gun, so they obviously were fearful of their lives.
There is a...
Yeah, at that point, you go into a blind rage and you smack the guy with a stick 30 times because you want to make sure he has no strength left to go for the gun that he motioned that he had.
If they tell you they have a gun and they're robbing your store, it's reasonable to assume that they have one.
Belt said he had a gun, so they obviously were fearful of their lives.
There is a point.
Maybe the 29th was protection, but the 30th hit, that was bloodlust.
Oh, they should have kept going.
There is a point where the two store owners could have subdued that individual without much violence.
Yet a...
Oh, great. Another expert.
Who is this idiot?
There is a point where the...
You know, if he only would have smacked him 5 times, he would have learned his lesson.
She's really going to argue with us about the number of times the guy was hit after he claimed to have a gun while robbing the store?
There is a point where the two store owners could have subdued that individual without much violence.
Yet a civil lawsuit is possible, according to legal experts. With so much...
All right, who's the lawyer that's going to take up the case of the would-be robber that got beat up by the 7-Eleven employees?
Oh, that woman. Whoever that was will absolutely take this case.
Yet a civil lawsuit is possible, according to legal experts. With so much public scrutiny, we asked, could Frazier's defense team say it's impossible to get a fair trial?
So while it can be difficult...
I mean, it's on tape what he was doing.
Maybe this woman couldn't hear what was going on the tape because her hearing was damaged from chasing so many ambulances.
So while it can be difficult to find 12 impartial jurors who have not seen this and already formed an opinion before they're asked to judge it in court, in San Joaquin County, it would be hard to find 12 people perhaps in other jurisdictions.
While the Court of Public Opinion deliberates, this courtroom...
No, the Court of Public Opinion has ruled in the favor of Mr. 7 and Mr. 11.
Even in this state, as screwed up as things are, the public supports the cashiers.
This courtroom appointed a mental health evaluation for Frazier.
Oh, can we stop with all of this is mental health related? If you're 41 and you're jacking a 7-Eleven for cigarettes, it's not that you're having a mental health breakdown.
If you're crazy, again, let's just go through this. I'm not a lawyer, but I understand what being criminally insane means. It means you don't know the difference between a lamppost and Abraham Lincoln. If you have premeditated a crime, you have thought about robbing the store, you have visualized about robbing the store, you brought a trash can with you so that when you stole items that are worth a great deal of money, like, cigarettes, you have a place to store the cigarettes so you can quickly exit the store and get on your way and sell those cigarettes. You told the clerks you had a gun. You knew that would make them afraid of you, and it would likely make them stand down and let you take whatever it was that you wanted to take and get out safely. Again, for you and me, that's a screwed up thing to do, and we would never do it. But from the point of view of a crook, everything this crook did was rational. Everything this crook did was thought through. Everything this crook did was designed to make sure he could steal as many cigarettes as possible and get out safely. He just never anticipated the cashiers fighting back.
This courtroom appointed a mental health evaluation for Frazier.
It's okay. Let him go. Just let him go.
Frazier faces several charges related to the robberies and other alleged crimes. He's expected to undergo a mental health evaluation.
You know, it's too bad that when the guy filmed this for TikTok and it went viral, he didn't know that the robber's name was Frazier. Because it would have been a perfect time to scream, "Down goes Frazier!"
Well, we could fix that in editing. All right. Yesterday, we brought you some legal analysis from senior John Phillips Show legal analyst O.J. Simpson. Today, we have an update to what the Juice had to say yesterday.
That's right, and this is coming straight off his Twitter feed because they didn't have time to load it in the system. So, OJ, you keep your PG mouth on there, okay? I can't believe he pays Elon Musk $8 a month. He's verified.
Hey, Twitter world, it's me, yours truly. I did a tweet yesterday regarding Henry Ruggs, his sentence. I wasn't really focusing on his sentence. It was more comment on my sentence when I was here in Las Vegas. But he's going through something today. You know, what they do is they send you up to a place called High Desert. It's a near prison here. And they put you in what they call holding lockdown. We call it the fish tank. And it's the worst part. Seriously, it's by far the worst part of this experience that he's about to go through. They put you in a room. They give you absolutely nothing. I mean,
except ask for your fantasy football picks.
Well, I'm sure the guards all want to know.
Nothing. And the toilet flushes like every 15 minutes or something. And
wait a minute.
Well,
is
in
it haunted?
My case, I was.
Why would the toilet flush every 15 minutes?
Can't explain that one. Never been to prison.
I don't think OJ's given that cell 5 stars.
Only 11 days.
Maybe they have to flush it every 15 minutes in case you're trying to intentionally leave something in the toilet bowl that it won't stay there.
Yeah, I don't know if I would be doing too many things inside the toilet bowl.
You don't think OJ ever brewed some Pruno?
Toilet tank wine?
There for a month or so.
This is the 2017 vintage.
In any event, after about 3 days, I went crazy. I mean, I literally said, guys, I need help. And when the pastor came to see me, I said, I need something to read. I mean, I'm just sitting here on this cot, and there's nothing. Well, he got me a Bible without the cover. They took the cover off. I guess these guys can make things off.
Did he read the part about thou shalt not kill?
I think he skipped over that portion.
The cover. And so I read the Bible. I read the entire Bible over the next 7 days. A little surprised. It got a little hard doing the begots. So-and-so begot so-and-so, and they begot somebody else. That was pretty tough, and I was surprised because I thought I had read the Bible most of my life, pieces of it, I guess, because I didn't realize it was so violent. I mean, it was really violent.
You could have learned some tips when you were married to Nicole.
Odd. How did they kill their wife in biblical times?
After a while, they determined what's the best prison for you. I would think he's a celebrity. He may go where I went because there was a number of other celebrities that had gone there, and that was there when I was there. It's a lot of outside time. You can buy yourself a TV.
What does it mean to be a celebrity in prison? Outside of the football, do you think people went up to him in his cell and said, hey, loved you in Naked Gun 2?
Well, and it's not even the state of California. This is the state of Nevada. What celebrities live in Nevada?
People that bottomed out of Hollywood.
And it's compared to the fish tank, it's almost heaven, right? The food is decent, and all he has to do is go there, do the programming, which is things like victim impact and stuff, and he can even go to school. You know, I even took a computer class when I was there.
OJ learned how to code.
Okay, do you think OJ knows more about the computer than Barbara Ferrer?
Why, yes. I do believe he does.
Yeah.
And still...
OJ could have got his doctorate in prison. He could have been the fake doctor.
Away from certain guys. He'll know who to stay away from. If he does that, he'll be out in 3 years, and I certainly hope he does it, and he's out in 3 years. As far as if he will get a chance to play again, a couple of my team golfers say, you think they're going to let him play? He'll only be 27. I think everybody should deserve a second chance. I really do.
And third chances. Now, if you kill 2 people, does that count as a second chance or a fourth chance?
Well, it's George Gascon, the DA.
But I saw what they did with Ray Rice in the NFL and what happened with him and his eventual wife. And here's a guy that had an impeccable reputation up until that time, and he never got back. So I'm praying for Henry. All right? Okay. Take care. Hey, fantasy football. Coming up.
OJ's got some pearly whites, by the way. So I guess the Goldmans are paying for his teeth whitening, too.
I told you I ran into OJ at brunch one time and on the golf course once. You know who I ran into at brunch this last weekend?
Who's that?
Mark Cuban.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Orange County. Didn't get my picture taken with Mark Cuban or OJ.
It's probably for the best.
I think so. All right, we've got 2 more hours coming up on the John Phillips Show. The Fix California hour is next. Don't you go anywhere. This is Talk Radio 790, KABC.
You're not going to have your mommy slam behind you anymore and wipe your little douches?